How's it going? Wooden Spoon SuperCoach here. Just me today. Mac will be back on Monday for the review, but we have the round 5 teams, and I think this week is going to be quite an important week to get a decent score. First few weeks, obviously, people are scrambling to get their teams right. Then last week we had all the Rabbitohs players out, so I think this week people's teams are going to be a little more settled, and I think we're going to see some massive scores. So you definitely want to be putting your hours in getting your decisions right this week, and hopefully this video will help you do that. Before we get into the teams, don't forget to join the group league. Code is 899247. There is currently an $816 prize pool that is set to go up. Also, don't forget to leave your comments down below with bets for the upcoming round of footy. $10 will be split between the bets commented, and any wins will get added to the prize pool for the whole year. Righto, let's get into the teams. Starting off with Manly and the Dolphins. I have no idea what to expect from this game. Could Manly pull their thumb out of their ass and pump the Dolphins? Maybe. Maybe now that Seabold's gone, they actually give a shit. Or could the Dolphins come out and absolutely pump the Sea Eagles? That's probably more likely. The bookies seem to think so. But I am expecting a little bit of a bounce back from my boys this week, and they bloody better. As for changes, the only changes for the Dolphins is that Kurt Donohue has recovered from an injury and is back on the bench. And for Manly, Clayton Falalo comes in for a suspended Jason Saab, who I thought got dropped there for a minute, but it is just the suspension. Laiafi makes it onto the bench again, which is massive. I think we're going to start seeing an increase in minutes from him. He's looked like the best player on the field when he's on, so definitely want to see him develop. And Joey Walsh, still in the reserves. Look, I wouldn't want Foran to come in and just make sweeping changes straight away. We may get a different result with him as the coach now with the same squad. So I think we've just hit a total reset. We'll see what happens this week, and then I would expect the coach to make changes moving forward. Here's one I missed. Bullimore has been named to play despite being a late withdrawal last week after injuring his Achilles in the warm-up. I saw Achilles and thought he was going to be out for ages. I think my brain just instantly went to rupture, but I guess that's not looking as bad as first thought, so that's very good because Bullimore is quickly becoming one of my favourite players in the NRL. I love the guy. Moving on to the Rabbitohs and the Bulldogs. For the Rabbitohs, the only change here we've got is that Campbell Graham has returned from injury, and for the Bulldogs, we've got Sam Hughes and Harry Hayes returning. Nothing too Supercoach relevant. Curran misses with a rib injury, I think. And Bronson Xerri is fighting his way back into the team again. I don't know what's going on at the Bulldogs at the moment. It just feels weird. They're still a very good team. And I don't know what I'm talking about, but it seems like there's just a little too much tinkering going on. Even when things are going well. So that'll be an interesting watch. Next up, we got Panthers and Storm. This is going to be a fucking huge game, and my prediction is that we're going to see that Penrith are clearly a level above everyone in the comp, including Melbourne Storm. It's also very scary that Tom Jenkins is going to be running at Tuimalata Brown, who is a rookie. He is a rookie in a Storm jersey, though, so he's no slouch. But yeah, this whole Jenkins decision has me absolutely shitting myself. I'm still considering getting him in for 800k, which is insane. He has a negative break even. He's going up against the best team in the comp that isn't the Panthers. And I'm still fairly confident in him tunning up. So I might have to make a second trade this week. Did want to save one, but we'll get to the trades later. As for changes, Freddie Lussick will start at hooker in place of Mitch Kenny, who's serving a one-match ban. Cogger returns from concussion on the interchange. And Isaac Tungo has been listed on the 6-man bench as he looks to force his way back into the NRL. Whatever. For Melbourne, Meaney returns after missing the Cowboys game with a back injury and slots in at centre in place of Moses Leo. Delayed concussion symptoms and not just a dropping. So, look, if you're a Leo owner, he's probably a sell anyway. We've seen that, yeah, he can get some attacking stats and get some good scores, but when those don't come, it's poo. So I don't think him not being named really makes a difference. I think he's a sell anyway. Howarth's been named despite hurting his hip in last week's game. Lazarus Valuepu comes in on the bench in place of Tui Kamakamika, who suffered a medical episode on Monday. Yeah, fuck. Kamakamika had a stroke, so that's some serious shit. Hopefully he's okay. Swift recovery to you, Kamakamika. I know you're an avid watcher of the Spoon channel. Dargans and Cows. You're going to have to cut me some slack for just reading the notes down here. I've actually got COVID at the moment. It might not seem like it. I'm putting on a brave face, but my brain is fucking mashed potato right now. So I'm just going to let the NRL do the hard work for me. King Togia takes over at 5'8" from Kyle Flanagan, while Moses Sully is back in the centres after missing the Titans game for personal reasons. Toby Couchman returns after missing round 4 due to concussion. Former Panther David Farley makes his Dragons debut on the wing after scoring 4 tries in 4 games in New South Wales Cup. Sloan drops to the 6-man bench. So we'll gloss over King Togia, Flanagan, and Sully. I don't think anyone's looking at them in Supercoach. Toby Couchman coming back. Massive for the Dragons. They looked like a completely different team without the Couchman brothers last week, so that's a big in. In terms of Supercoach, though, I think you probably want to go for his brother. We'll quickly flip over here and have a quick look at his price. Yeah, so Toby Couchman scoring to about his value. He's actually losing money and he's got a high break even. So if you're looking at bringing him in this week, I definitely wouldn't. Ryan Couchman, on the other hand, he's still a few weeks away, but we'll definitely come back to him. As for David Farley, I am losing confidence in Dragons outside back cheapies quickly. We've seen Sedu 2 not make it to 3 games. We've seen Sloan come in for 1 game and then get dropped back to the bench and Farley coming in. I don't want to deal with this shit. You don't want to be spending a trade going from Sedu 2 to Farley, for instance, and then you end up with the same problem. He plays 2 games and then misses out on the cash rise. My mistake. Sedu 2 did still get the initial price rise, but that's not enough. He's still under 300k. So yeah, my inkling is probably to avoid Farley unless he gets you out of some serious trouble, or if you're looking at trading him in on the bubble week. But when it comes to going early, I cannot back that. Speaking of cheapy centers, Tom Chester's back from suspension, so Zach Laybutt moves to the 6-man interchange. Laybutt and Harrison Edwards are the new faces on the 6-man interchange, with Kai O'Donnell and Liam Sutton making way. The Cowboys have won their last 6 games against the Dragons. So, Tom Chester is definitely the cheapy center wing that you're trading to if you're looking to fix up down there. Him getting the spot back over Zach Laybutt was the only thing I needed to see for it to be green lights on him, so I might even make that second trade. So I might even have to use that second trade to get Chester in before he gets priced out. And Tom Chester at 292k is fine. -6 break even is also fantastic. We have missed that initial 75k in the first place, but he's going to make money even if he does absolutely nothing. So I think I will have to look at getting him in. Moving on to the Titans and the Broncos. I got April Fool's this morning so fucking hard. Was it Whisperer? Fuck you, Whisperer. Putting up a Reece Walsh injury. It's on me. It's April 1st. It happens every year and it gets me every fucking year because I'm a dickhead. But I was fully crashing out in a group chat about it until my mate told me to look at the calendar and then I felt like an idiot. So yes, Reece Walsh is named. Everything is fine. It's all good. And likewise is Payne Haas. This is an interesting one. I held him last week to see if he got named this week. And if he wasn't named this week, then I would have sold him. There's part of me that kind of would have preferred for him to not be named, because that makes the decision easy. Sell him and use that money to maybe go to Jenkins even. But the fact that he's named now and we don't know if he's 100%, I doubt he's 100%, but we don't know if he's 90%, 80%. There is a big risk with AC joint injuries of lower output and potentially even lower minutes. So if Payne Haas comes out this week and scores like a 60 or a 50, I think that would be enough for me to justify trading him out. For changes, the Titans are exactly the same, 1 through 19, so that's nice and easy. For the Broncos, we've covered Payne Haas. Xavier Willison reverts to the bench. The loss of winger Grant Anderson to a knee injury sees Jesse Arthurs called up for his first game of 2026, while Shibasaki is also back in the side starting at centre. Fresh off signing a 3-year deal with the club this week, 19-year-old outside back Antonio Verhoeven has been named on the 6-man bench by Michael Maguire. Could Verhoeven be the Jesse Arthurs of this year for the Broncos? Maybe. Let's go have a little look at the Broncos outside backs because there's a little bit going on there. We'll start with Shibasaki. Him coming off the bench has caused him to drop 100k. He has an 112 break even. He's made it back into the side. I probably wouldn't be looking at him this week with a break even like that, but we know what he's capable of. He is coming up against the Gold Coast, so I think it's quite likely that he could stabilize that break even this week and maybe even start to look like a buy. If we have a look at his 2025 stats, he averaged 66.2. It was a breakout year for him, with only 3 scores 40 and below that I can see. So decent floor. And if we cross-reference this with the draw, yeah, the Broncos draw opens up very nicely. Titans this week, Cowboys next week, Tigers, Bulldogs, Roosters, Manly, New Zealand. Pretty good. And you can see over here that from the very start of the year, I've been targeting Walsh from round 4. So I think we can expect some decent scores from some Broncos coming up. And look, if you were after a pod play, there's one there with Shibasaki. But for me, I would like to see that break-even stabilize first. He's not the kind of player I'm willing to take a risk on at the moment. Now, Antonio Verhoeven, bottom dollar. So if he can get some consistent minutes in the team, the fact that he's just signed a 3-year contract is a very good sign. It doesn't necessarily mean he's anywhere near a start. It's hard to know. But if he does get that start, then he could be a nice little downgrade option in the center wings. Hopefully he doesn't come off the bench and fuck up his rolling average. But he is named at 19, so I doubt it. Yeah, bit going on at the Broncos there, so definitely keep an eye on that. Sharks and Warriors. I reckon this is going to be a banger of a game with both teams looking for a bounce back. As for changes, for the Sharks, Nicker is listed in the reserves as he looks to return from a broken schnoz, while Hiroti has been named on the interchange after making a successful return from a knee issue through New South Wales Cup last weekend. But that being said, the top 17 remains unchanged, so not a whole lot going on there. Warriors, with Mitch Barnett nursing a broken thumb, Voimunga has been added to the interchange bench in the only change to the side, beaten by the West Tigers. This is massive for Jackson Ford. I was like the tiniest little bit disappointed with his 60 last week just after the scores he's been putting up, but the fact that we don't have to be concerned about Barnett coming in and eating into his minutes for the next couple of weeks at least is very nice. So I probably wouldn't be buying Jackson Ford at the moment. He's 722k. I think you've probably missed the boat on that one. But then again, I also said that about Jenkins last week and now he's 800k. So it's a crazy start to the year. And no one's trading in Morgan Gannon, so we'll move on from that. For the Knights and Raiders, just a couple of big boppers coming back for him, with Trey Mooney returning from suspension and Josh Papali returning as well. I sold Trey Mooney last week, and that's honestly one you could go either way on. And last week, it was a bit of a coin toss decision. I don't think there was a right or wrong call there. The bad score is going to affect his cash gen in the short term, but his projected average is still higher than what he's priced at. So there's still money to be made there. It's just going to be a bit more of a plotter. So if you've held him, definitely no cause for concern. He'll do fine. And it honestly wouldn't surprise me if in a few weeks I regret trading him out. Eels and Tigers. This is another one I think could be a really good watch. I'm excited for this round of footy. This will be good. Obviously, we've got Joash Papali'i slotting in at fullback for the injured Iongi. We've also got a couple of cheapy prospects in Lauli'i and Tavana for the Tigers. We'll go over to the SuperCoach app and have a look at them in a second. Only other changes for the Eels are that Charlie Geimer takes over Matt Dury and DeBellin has been added to the bench. So let's have a look at these Tigers wingers. Alrighty, Tavana coming in for his second game of the year, so he'll be on the bubble next week. Definitely a downgrade option there if he does manage to keep his spot in the side. We'll have to revisit that one next week. Makasini's still doing fine, -5 break even, and absolutely overflowing with talent, so I don't think anyone's going to be looking at selling him. And then we've got Luke Laui'i, 335k, break even of 12, and scores of 94, 37, and 60. If 37's what we can expect as a floor, that's not bad. And I probably would bet on him crossing the chalk this week against the Eels. So 335k, you've missed out on the initial 90k price rise. Unless you're desperate for a downgrade in center wing this week, I'd probably just wait out for Tavana. Because Lauli'i's 94 is going to drop out first. And then his cash gen is going to stutter unless he can get another big score again. But I think getting the bottom dollar guy with all the potential to make all the money is probably the way to go next week. Sick. That is all the teams. Let's have a look at our trades now. So as you can see, Mac and I, we're doing okay. Sitting about 1/3 of the way down the rankings and both climbing pretty quickly. I'm quietly confident that I can make it up to the top 1,000 this year as long as I bloody save trades, which I'm probably not going to do again this week. Currently, I'm looking at getting rid of To'o for Sasangi, which is a very popular trade this week. Simi Sasungi in is 3 of the top 5 trades, getting him in for To'o Keeney and Moses Leo. So I do think he's probably the number 1 trading target this week. There's also almost 3,000 people trading in Tavana. I don't think I can back that trade. We've already seen the Tigers have a bit of a shuffle up in the outside backs. So how good is the job security for him? I don't know. I'd rather look at getting him in on the week he changes price rather than going early. Mac, on the other hand, is ripping a boost and he's getting rid of Payne Haas, which I can kind of understand. As I was saying before, it's annoying that this is a difficult decision now. We have seen in the past these AC joint injuries cause Haas to have a reduced output. I can understand the trade, but I can also understand what I'm doing and just seeing how he goes this week. Maybe he's fine. Mac's also getting rid of Fermor and Stephen Crichton. I got no issues with that. I think they're good moves. And he's bringing in Sasungi, Lukey, and Tom Jenkins for 800k. I can't even bully him for it because I want to do it too. I have much more confidence in Jenkins tunning up than Payne Haas this week, even against Melbourne. Do I just bite the bullet? I can go Haas to Jenkins via Jules thanks to Sasungi, so maybe I look at that, but it just... I can't help but feel like I'm getting a bit trigger happy with the trades, hence only doing 1 so far. So here's what our teams are looking like. I'm pretty happy with it. I would like to get rid of Cooper Bye, but he is still making a little bit of money, so I'm not going to force that trade too soon. And for the backs, I'm pretty happy for now, but there is definitely a lot of upgrading that needs to happen down here. Sedu 2's got to go next week. Ethan Sanders probably needs to get up to a gun soon. And I'd also be able to sleep a lot better at night with Cody Walker out of my team. So still a bit of tinkering to go, but we are only a month into the competition. And as you can see, Mac and I both have Walsh captained. He'll be the number 1 captain this week for sure against the Titans. And I still really like Cleary as a VC against Melbourne. He's matchup proof. And in the tougher matchups, I think he does get more involved. So it could even have a good effect on him. And Mac has Jenkins VC. That is so scary. Like, oh God. Like, fuck, do I buy him? He's going to make money. I heard at some point in the preseason someone say, if you don't love a trade, don't do it. And I don't love it, so I don't think I'm going to do it. But that will do it for the week. Don't forget to leave your bets in the comments. Don't forget to join the group league. Like, subscribe, all that bullshit. And Mac and I will see ya on Monday. Catch you later.